We all know the feeling of struggling to break a bad habit, or falling short when we try to create a new one. Sometimes we try over and over again and still fail. Why is this? What stands between you and your shiny new habit? What keeps you stuck in a destructive behavior? In other words, why do you behave in certain ways and not others? These daily behaviors play an important role in our lives, ultimately shaping who we are. So the big question is, how do you become the person you want to be? James Clear's Atomic Habits answers all of these questions, giving readers a hands-on playbook for forming good habits and breaking bad ones. No wonder it's a massive bestseller, topping Amazon and New York Times lists for years. The book dives deep into every aspect of habits, explaining how they form in a step-by-step way, and showing that over time, consistent small changes can lead to full-blown transformations. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the key takeaways from Atomic Habits, how 1% adjustments build up to real behavior change, how thinking about your identity helps you build lasting habits, exactly how to form a habit step by step, and finally, how to get rid of habits you wish you could stop doing. Let's start with this idea of 1%. One thing that makes the book so approachable is that it recommends focusing on small, doable actions. Though these 1% changes don't feel like much day to day, they can transform your life over time because habits compound. If you truly improve 1% every day, you end up 37 times better by the end of 1 year. That's how powerful small improvements can be if you continue to build on them little by little. And this power can be used for good or for evil. You can just as easily invest that daily 1% into a bad habit and end up 37 times better at a habit you don't want to have. Which is why breaking out of a bad habit can also have a huge impact on your life. So if moving 1% in the right direction every day is so powerful, that still leaves the question, how do you keep showing up every single day? This is where the book's practical advice comes into play. The first really useful insight for how to keep a good habit going is that it's easier to do when a habit is identity-based. This means that who you are is the driving force behind what you do. The power of this concept is that when your identity drives your habits, you can live every day as the person you want to be. Identity leads to processes, which lead to outcomes. These are the 3 layers of habit change. Identity is who you are, processes are what you do, outcomes are what you get. A common mistake is to approach this backwards, focusing on outcomes first. We set goals like, ooh, I really want to get into shape, and then we don't understand why we only stick with them for a few days. The problem is, if you don't have a change in attitude, a change in beliefs about yourself, you won't see a change in your behavior. For myself, I'd really like to start meditating every morning. My goal is to eventually meditate 30 minutes every day. It's never gonna happen. I'm gonna try. But what I'm really working on is being more mindful. I want to be someone who is truly present and aware of my behavior in every moment. If all I care about is getting to 30 minutes of meditation a day, my motivation will be gone when I finally get there. It's developing a mindful identity that will help me stay more consistent with my meditation practice for a long time. Let's go through how to build a habit step by step. First, we'll take a look at how habits work. Then we could use this information to strategically create our own habits. The book breaks down 4 stages of habit formation: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers you to act. It's something that tells your brain there's an opportunity for a reward. The craving is the desire to get the reward, pushing you to act. The response is the action you take. And the reward is the thing you get in the end. Every habit follows this simple sequence. Take a common one, checking your phone. The cue might be a notification pinging you. You crave stimulation. You respond by opening your phone. The reward is texting your friend or watching a funny TikTok video. Me. So, how do you use these 4 stages to improve your life? Let's look at how to form a habit. We'll take each stage one by one. So stage 1, cue, the thing that triggers the behavior. The key to the stage is to make it obvious. If you don't notice the trigger, you won't act. So it has to be something that'll get your attention. And you won't make it to the other stages if you don't jumpstart the cycle in the first place. Linking a habit to a certain time of day is one of the easiest ways to create a good cue. If you know you have free time every day at 5 p.m. and you want to get in the habit of cleaning your house more often, make 5 p.m. your cue. Set a repeating alarm on your phone, and every day when it goes off, clean for 10 minutes. Another approach is to link a habit you want to add to one you're already doing or to a cue you know you'll encounter often. So let's say you link cleaning your house to eating dinner. Every night after you finish dinner, you spend 2 minutes cleaning. This works best if it's specific, so go even further. You always know you put your dishes in the dishwasher after finishing your meal, so this act becomes your cue to move on to 2 minutes of cleaning the kitchen. Stage 2, craving. The feeling of wanting the reward. This one is important because your habit probably involves an action that's hard to get started, like going for a run or focusing on work. To get over this hump, you need to crave the reward that comes at the end of it. Thinking about this sweet, juicy reward will motivate you to get off that couch in the first place. A good way to set up a craving is to reward yourself at the end of doing your habit. Say you want to get in the habit of walking 20 minutes a day outside. And say you also really like chocolate. Once you know this, you can set up a reward. After you walk for 20 minutes a day, give yourself the reward of eating chocolate. Then, whenever you don't feel like going out for a walk, think about the chocolate. Crave that creamy, delicious chocolate, and you'll be more motivated to take that walk. It's surprising how powerful cravings are. An interesting thing about our brains is that they produce more dopamine when we anticipate a reward than when we actually get the reward. Think about the last time you went on vacation. How good was that feeling you had the months before the vacation when you were looking forward to it? Sometimes the excitement looking forward to the vacation is even better than the vacation itself. Habits work the same way. If you can set up a craving that you really want, that will give you the motivation to get off the couch and do your habit. Stage 3 is response, the actual behavior or habit you're performing. The key here is to make your behavior as effortless as possible. The more effortless the behavior, the more likely you are to keep showing up. This doesn't mean only doing easy things. For example, running might not be the easiest thing you do during your day, but you can make going for a run more effortless by removing any friction that keeps you from doing it. Think about all of the obstacles that can get in the way. Your running shoes are deep in the closet. You don't have the right mood-boosting music to listen to. You're not sure which quick snack to eat for that jolt of energy. Removing the friction makes it that much easier to keep showing up every day. Load up your phone with the perfect playlist and leave your running shoes and a box of granola bars by the door. Another great way to make it easy for you to show up is to use the 2-minute rule. Scale your new habit back so it's not challenging. Just do the 2-minute version of it. So instead of doing a full exercise routine, just exercise for 2 minutes. Once you get used to showing up consistently, you can make those small daily improvements towards the bigger version of your habit. So last year, I really wanted to challenge myself to run a 5K, but I would have failed miserably if I had tried running that distance right off the bat. I had to establish a consistent training habit. I did have running experience though, so 1 mile wasn't scary to me. I knew I could complete that every day. So at first I committed to running 1 mile a day, and I stuck with that for a whole month. Once I had established this habit, I slowly worked my way up and increased my mileage. And because I paced myself along the way, I never got intimidated. I kept showing up. The final stage is the reward, the thing you get in the end. A habit always ends in a reward because that's what keeps you coming back over and over again. Without a great reward, everything else falls apart. To set up a reward that'll keep you coming back to your habit, make it satisfying. Maybe you're not a chocolate person. Maybe you like oatmeal raisin cookies. Maybe you like watching YouTube videos. Whatever the reward is, it has to be something you crave. And when it comes to rewarding yourself, you probably respond best to instant gratification. A faraway reward like losing 10 pounds just might not be strong enough to get you off the couch every day. So give yourself those little reinforcements along the way. Satisfy a craving every time you do a habit. That's what will keep you going. If you're not into chocolate or oatmeal raisin cookies, another way to give yourself little reinforcements is to track your habit. I personally absolutely love to-do lists. It is the only way I got through college in one piece. Every morning, I'd write out a list of all the assignments and tasks I'd need to complete for that day. Being able to tick off items off that list, oddly enough, gave me a really great rush. Even when I really didn't want to do something like a long reading assignment, I knew that when I finished it, it would feel so satisfying to cross it off my to-do list. And that's what always motivated me to keep going. Okay, so now you know the 4 stages of creating new habits. This is a big deal. You know how to bring a new habit in your life. But what about breaking bad habits? You can use the stages of habit formation to do this too. Just flip them around. Instead of removing friction, add friction to make that response more difficult. Instead of making the reward really satisfying, make it unsatisfying. So let's go back to that example of checking your phone. Maybe your phone distracts you when you're supposed to be studying or working. We can apply the negative version of each of these 4 stages to break this habit. Make the cue invisible. If you're not triggered to act in the first place, you won't start the habit cycle. A simple way to do this for this phone example is to turn off notifications. If your phone doesn't vibrate in your pocket or light up on your desk, you're less likely to think about picking it up. Make the craving less attractive. If you can reframe how you feel about the action, the craving won't motivate you as much. Practice telling yourself the negative aspects of using your phone. Checking my phone keeps me from being the productive person I want to be. If I pick up my phone now, I'll feel bad about it later. This shift in mindset can change the feelings you associate with the action you want to stop doing. Make the response more difficult. Here's where you add more friction instead of removing it, to make it less likely that you'll follow through when you feel the urge to act. Keep your phone in a drawer or even keep it in another room. Having to stand and walk over to get your phone will be one more obstacle between you and your bad habit. Make the reward less satisfying. Put your phone in grayscale mode so it becomes less stimulating to use. Remove the addictive apps that are so good at gluing you to the screen. Unfollow social media accounts that keep you coming back for more. If your phone is less satisfying to use, you'll find the habit less rewarding. Now you understand the important keys to forming new habits and breaking old ones. You have practical tools you can use to get started right now. You know that even though they might not seem like much, small actions repeated over time can lead to pretty remarkable changes. Ultimately, these 1% improvements can help you become the person you want to be. This book has lots of great insights into the nuances of habits that we didn't have time to cover in this video. If you're interested in going deeper, check out the guide to Atomic Habits on shortform.com. Shortform makes the world's best guides to nonfiction books. They're like book summaries on steroids. You can get a 5-day free trial and a discounted annual subscription if you go to shortform.com/YouTube. Click the link in the description below. And support the author and publisher by buying Atomic Habits. A link to buy the book is below as well. And finally, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next Shortform video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.